in the day at the end of the day. So today I'm going to just be giving 6 ways in which you can be able to establish a healthy regime. And of course, it's just the things that I've done personally, and it doesn't mean that there are only 6 ways or 6 things that you can do to be able to establish a healthy regime. There are different things that you can do, obviously, but these are just 6 summaries that I strongly believe and I strongly feel are the best, well, the best or can be very helpful when it comes to weight loss journey. So number one, if you're trying to have a health to establish a healthy regime, the first thing that I will highly recommend or highly suggest will be to start by creating a routine or a regimen or a regime that is right for you. What do I mean by this? Start by asking yourself the why. If you want, for example, to have a healthy body, you want to lose weight, that will be your why. And then you will want to create a regimen or a regime that will allow you to be able to lose weight. So at the end of the day, how will that look like? It will look like being able to kind of, in a way, look at what you eat, look at what you consume, and then at the end of it all, being able to say eventually, how does it look like? How does it like resemble in terms of like how much am I putting in? How much am I expending? And then at the end, that difference that you have will help you to either be able to gain weight, lose weight, or maintain weight. So you have to start by asking yourself, why do I want to do this? It is often said that when the purpose of something is not understood, abuse is imminent. If you don't understand the purpose of your body, there is a high chance that you will be able to abuse the body because obviously you don't understand the purpose to which the body was created and for why it is there and why it exists. So, for example, when I wanted to lose weight, if I talk about my story, if I talk about my journey, they say the first thing is to try and ask yourself 7 levels of why. 7 levels of why. So for my case, when I wanted to lose weight, the first level is just the easy, isn't it? Superficial, easy way of thinking about weight loss. So my first thing was like, well, my elder sister had lost weight, so she was much more looking much more slimmer, better than I was looking. So my why was like, well, I want to be younger sister. And when people look at me, they should not be asking the difference between my elder sister and myself because of obviously I'm much more bigger. That was kind of seemed a little bit easy, but on the other hand, when you go to the second level of why, you're still asking, it will still be a still easy way. You're saying like, okay, obviously, isn't it? It's obvious I want to lose weight so that I can be still that younger sister. And then it gets to a point where you begin to hit the wall. You begin to get to the point and you're like, come on, Claire, why do you want to really, really lose weight? Why are you interested in losing weight? Why are you doing what you're doing? So you're getting into the second level of why. And that, so you're getting into, you've gone the first one, the easy way. The second one is still easy. The third way is still obvious. And now you're starting to hit the wall and you started looking inside and you're asking yourself, Claire, why do you really, really want to lose weight? And when I started to look at it, I began to tell myself I really want to lose weight, not because of my sister, even though she's played a very important role in my journey, but it wasn't because of my sister. It wasn't because of anything, but it was because of me. It was because I really wanted to grow and become older and be able to face my old age, being able to feel more confident that I can carry my body around. I can carry my little man around with me and not being like kind of in a way incapacitated because I am not able to do it. And then once you hit the wall, you begin going into another level of why until you get to the point where you're getting there into the core of your heart. You know it from deep within. I want to lose weight because of A, B, C, D. You're like, I'm convinced within me there is something burning from within my heart. I want to lose weight because my mommy or my daddy died because of ABCD. And because of that, I don't want to be a partaker of that. So I want to get a little bit more into shape. To give you a very good example, illustration, a very dear friend of mine, the dad was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And within a very short period of time, he was given only a couple of months to live. And as I was talking to my friend, we were talking about nutrition, and she looked at me and she said to me, Claire, I have decided to make a change in the way I eat. And not because of anything, but simply because my dad lived kind of a very free, if you want, carefree life. And has, as a result, when he was a very fit man in his early 50s, got diagnosis and ended up literally within a couple of months was from diagnosis to the end. And she was saying, I really, really want to lose weight. I really want to eat healthily because I know there is something about diet, there is something about nutrition that if I don't change something in my routine, is going to result in a problem. So, number one, for those who are joining now, I can see a few people online. I'm just talking about how to build a healthy regime. And I've said the point number one is to create a routine or a regimen that is right for you. And the way you can do that is asking yourself, why do I want this? And I was saying you need to ask, they say the 7 levels of why. The first level can be something like it's basic, easy. But when you get to the core of it, that within the bottom, within the deep core of you, you're like, I know beyond doubt this is what I want. Then you will be able to commit on it to it. Then you will be able to follow up. Nobody will be following you out, and nobody will be trying to chase you around. As I say it again, they say when the purpose is not understood, abuse is imminent. If you don't understand the purpose to why your body is created, if you don't understand the purpose why you want to have that healthy regimen, you will not be able to continue having it at some point. Number two, start small. I've heard so many different stories given in the position that I am at the moment. People come to me and they say, I want to lose weight and I'm looking forward to losing X amount of kilos within 2, 3 weeks or whatever. And I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, it is doable. But you don't want to start with that regimen that you are kind of in a way like you'll crash at the end of the day. Start with small steps. Every single step matters. If you want to lose, for example, 10 kilos, I'll use kilos because that's what I'm used to. If you're used to pounds and other imperial measurements, you can always convert that. Start to be realistic and think about it like, what small steps can I make towards that changing into and losing that weight? For example, here in the UK, they advise not to lose more than 500 grams in weight every week. So if you start, let's say, by losing 100 grams or losing 200 grams, or picking up one thing at a time, like intending to lose maybe 100 grams, and then you pick one thing at a time that will shift you. They call it the needle moving action. The needle moving action. So you're doing it repetitively. You're doing it every single day. So if you want to lose weight, maybe you're reducing your consumption of carbohydrate, that is then, like, let's say, processed food and things like that, and then increasing maybe your consumption of protein. Or you are beginning, if you're, for example, you're always going to for maybe a couple of steps a day, you're starting to kind of increase that little by little, that needle moving activity that eventually will help you. You get to a point and you realize, like, gosh, I have been able to lose quite a substantial amount of weight, or I have been able to actually get myself in the right place that I needed to be. So start small and do small things, small adjustment. Pick one thing at a time, one change at a time, one thing at a time, one change at a time. Don't try to do so many things at the same time because you will be overwhelmed. And once you're overwhelmed, you know the recipe, you're basically going to say, I've heard enough. And as a result of that, you're not going to continue to do it anymore. And then number three, one of the other things that I want to really highly encourage you to do is just do what you're already doing. What do you already have? What is it that you already have in store? For example, this week I've been inviting you guys and I've been encouraging you guys to kind of, in a way, do 5,000 steps. So maybe that's something that you can already start with. Tell yourself, I already have 5,000 steps every single day. So then you start with that. Probably it might be you're drinking, let's say, 4 glasses of water every single day. There's something that you are doing, and then build up on that. If you've been doing 5,000 steps every single day, you can actually decide and say, I'm going to add on top of what I'm doing 100 more steps. I'm doing 5,100 steps. If you've been doing, let's say, you're drinking maybe five glasses of water, you can add one more or two more. So you'll have something already, a good habit already, that you already have in your armory, some tools that you can actually build on those. And once you build on that, they help you to get to a point where you're continuing to have a healthy regimen and building onto that, so that at the end of the day you become much more conversant and aware with those needle moving steps that eventually will lead you into success. And then the other thing that I highly like to recommend or encourage you to do is plan ahead. Let me give you an example of myself. I am a full time daughter, I am a full time wife, I am a full time mother, I am a full time employee, I am a full time minister, I am a part time on YouTube. That's just to say a few things that happen in my life. And to add on that, I'm a full time sibling. I've got brothers, I've got sisters, I've got nephews, I've got in laws, and all those different people that all surround my life. And so you can be asking yourself, where does Claire really get the time to spend all the time that she spends doing the things that she does on YouTube? And of course, if I spend all my time on doing stuff on YouTube, I've got a full time job that is needing me to attend to it. I've got a full time family that I'm looking after, and I've got my own life to look after. And you can wonder, where do I get all the time? I'm running outside every single day. I'm showing like I've gone for this amount of running. Every time I'm coming onto YouTube or live or Facebook, I'm sharing my story with you guys. Where do I get all the time? And I've had people asking that question, and it's a fair enough question. Claire, where do you get the time to do the things that you do? You will be pleased to know that I have only 24 hours in a day, similar to everybody else. I don't have any more than everybody else has. But one thing that I've learned, and I learned it very quickly, is I have learned to plan ahead. When I'm going for journeys and running and things like that, in my household, the kind of conversations we have most of the time will be like, what time are you leaving for work tomorrow? Because I know the time that my husband is leaving for work in the morning will determine what time I'm going to go for a run, because there's a little one that needs to be looked after, and that little one needs to go to school. And then after school, I've got to go to work. After work, I've got other things that I'm doing. And once I've learned, if I leave out planning out of everything that I do, I will never ever be able to go for a run. I will never ever be able to do anything that is related to sports activities and things like that. And so I have learned to plan my day ahead of time. And if you're not planning, when you picked up something new, chances are it is the new thing that will always suffer. So if you're online and watching live now, maybe just put it in the chat. What is it, a new habit that you desire to establish? And what are some of the ways you can think of in terms of planning that can help you to be able to achieve this? So, like for me, I'll give you an example of myself. I've said some of the things that I plan. Before I go to bed, I put my running gear in a place that I know I can easily be able to find them. I don't have to start finding them in the morning. So that means that even if I'm going to run a little bit longer in the morning, I don't have to start worrying, looking for the socks in the morning and shoes and things like that. I don't run very long runs during the week because I know I have to go back home and do school runs and things like that. And during the weekend, when both of us are home, I can do like 10K running. But then that means I still have also the household chores and things like that to do. I plan myself when I'm going to bed. I know, like, okay, if I need to be running tomorrow, I need to be waking up by 5 in the morning so that I'm ready by 6 to hit the door of my house and leave and go for a run. When I come back from the run, I immediately know I've already planned what are people having for breakfast. When I come back, the little man is ready for school. And then at 8:30 latest, we hit the road, we've gone, and then at the end of the day, when we come back home, we have to plan what are we eating for dinner. We have to plan. It's kind of, it calls for quite a lot of planning. And when you're picking up particularly a new habit, you'll have to kind of constantly plan, because if you don't plan it, as they say, if you don't plan, you're planning to fail. So if you're trying to establish a healthy habit, if you don't plan it as part of your being intentional, as part of being able to show, like, okay, at the end of the day, I want to be able to do this, I want to be able to show forth for this, you are easily going to get, life will become hectic, will become difficult, life will become chaotic. It is what it is. That's called life. And chances are, once that happens, the thing that you easily will lose out of everything will be your ability to keep to the new habit that you're trying to form. So again, just to remind you, please, if you're trying to do this, ensure you try to be as organized as you can, because you don't want your new habit that you're trying to establish to be the one that suffer when you end up with a busy lifestyle, when you end up with a busy regime and busy life. We all are busy. So just to kind of start again, number one, I said the most important thing to think about is, why are you doing that? Make a routine that will fit you. Ask yourself your why. I've talked about small steps at a time. Don't try to rush everything, all of it together. And then I've said you already, chances are, like, you already have something that is existing. And that thing that is existing, just build up on that and add some new things on it. So if you're walking already, add more steps. If you're drinking water, add more water. If you're eating fruits and vegetables, add more portions and things like that. And then I've said you need to plan yourself ahead of time, plan yourself so well so that at the end of the day, you're not letting anything to slip out of the way because you are not able to plan. And of course, as I've just mentioned, if you fail to plan, you will be planning to fail. So just ensure that that becomes something that will help you not to be able to fall off when you've started a new habit. Then the fifth one, because I said I'm only going to share 6 things today. The fifth one is make time for those things that you enjoy. So if you enjoy, for example, walking in nature, at the end of the day, make time and go walk in nature. My little man and I, we love dancing. So whenever we have a minute, and it can be there's no music, but we just get ourselves in those moves, because we find that really makes us happy. It gives us that time to bond. It gives us that time to enjoy and to have just a good time and a good laugh. And we dance those really funny kind of weird moves because it's something that makes us really happy. Find something that, even if it's just 15 minutes, if you love movies, you can have a movie night. If you love watching a given series, you can do that. And sometimes it could be like after you've done something so well that you're kind of in a way just patting yourself on the back. It's not pride. Just telling yourself, Claire, you have picked up a new habit. You've repeated it for 21 days. It's becoming part of you. And so to celebrate those little wins, you just kind of in a way saying, like, we'll do something that we love. And of course, when you have those things that are fun, when you have those things that are enjoyable, when you have those things that are relaxing, it will kind of, in a way, always motivate you. And this brings me to the sixth part. The sixth part that I want to talk about is something that will be really, really important. It's something that I feel it's underestimated, but it's something that is very, very important when it comes to the establishment of a healthy regimen. What do I mean with this? When it comes to this kind of establishing a healthy regimen, you will never be able to get there and be able to do it if constantly you are that kind of a person that does things and loves to do things in isolation. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. I cannot highly emphasize how community can play a significant role when it comes to the establishment of a new habit or a healthy habit. I want to use my life as a typical example as I try to hopefully bring this to a close. Through the way I can sit today, I can stand today, and I can explain to people today and say how I have been able to catch up with all these healthy habits and put them into place, that I walk, I run, I do whatever. But it has been a contribution of so many people in my journey that have helped me. I've talked about the story of my sister so many times. I don't even know whether she'll ever watch this. I don't even know whether she even knows I'm saying this about her. But one of the things that I know that we've been like kind of in the past, we had that opportunity of her just sparring on and telling me, Claire, you can do it, and just being that cheerleader in the background. And I remember in 2016 when our father was really unwell, and I was praying and hoping, for a miracle and things like that to happen. And that morning I wake up and to the call that he's no longer here, he's passed on. And I got to a point I was just so broken, and I was like thinking like, okay, well, I went for the funeral. When I came back, I just felt like I can't do anything. Stopped going to the gym. I stopped going for a run. I didn't care more. I was like the thing that I loved, because you're thinking like you've tried to work hard in life. You've gotten to a point where you now have a job. You're thinking like once in a while, whenever I'm able to, I can be able to kind of, do different things for my parents. And then lo and behold, you're told like your dad has passed. And of course, it was a very, very difficult time and things like that. And I remember one of the things that has played a very important role, I've said, of course, community, but also my faith has really helped me a lot with that journey. So one day, I don't remember ever praying that I lose weight, but I've always prayed for strength and enablement to be able to do it. And I remember when I came back, and one day I was going out, I dragged myself out of the house and I was feeling like I don't want to do this. I dragged myself into the gym, and I was on the stepper, and of course I was looking down because there were tears dripping out from my eyes, and I was just thinking like, now I've just come back from a funeral, I'm in a foreign country, my family is not here, and I was thinking about so many different things. And then there came this guy and he was talking to me, and I was like, you know what? I just even don't want you to talk to me. Like, I was outside trying to smile because I was trying to clear off the tears in my eyes. And he happened to be a personal trainer in the gym where I was going to. And he started to tell me, Claire, I am a personal trainer and I can help you. At that moment, I was praying to and I was hoping that somebody could just help me to kind of get that sense to get back into it. And he was like, you know what? I want to do this with you. And at that moment, I was really honestly trying, like, I had a bit of work to do in terms of my weight. And I wasn't feeling at all like I really wanted to do it. So I said, okay, let's give it a try. And you might call it coincidence. I call it God incidence, because at that moment, this guy decided to do personal training, and I was paying less than £5 per hour of a session, which shows you he wasn't interested in the money. He wasn't interested in anything, but he was interested in helping me develop that, going back into the gym, go back into being able to see the sense out of exercising and a healthy regime. And of course, he will tell me about, like, remind me of diet, the healthy diet and healthy habits. And when I look back, I was able to go back and I was able to do that journey because of this gentleman that literally was collecting almost nothing from me because of that prayer that I made, really. Fast forward last year, when our mom passed away, I got to a point I was just like getting back into that place of almost becoming like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to wake up in the morning, go for work. I didn't want to do anything. I was like, life doesn't make any sense anymore. And in that moment, I remember us again praying and saying, I need a miracle just to be able to get out into being able to run again, being able to do things again, being able to do life again. And then I discovered Strava. I had never known there's something called Strava. And when I discovered Strava at that stage and moment in my life, I started following some people that I knew who even don't know I follow them on Strava, that I'm just like in there in the background. And for me, I feel like that was another answer moment where community played a very important role. And to date, for me, Strava is my community. Every single day when I run, I record my run on Strava. And there are people that I follow, I go on. And from that time, I can't tell you how much it's been so helpful for me. I've been able to develop and to build up that regime that I'm actually able to do it by myself. I've heard people asking me, how do you go running by yourself? What motivates you to go out there and just run as though you are having a personas? And I'm like, because I know I have a community, because I know I've got support from other people that even maybe they don't know they're supporting me in any way. And so I know beyond doubt that this having that community and also part of it can give you an opportunity to build your faith is something that has really, really helped me. And so, as I bring this to an end, I know that through all these journeys, one of the other things that has been so helpful to me, and one of the people that has been a very, very close friend to me, that has been like never ending in between all those journeys that I've talked about, losing two parents within a very short period of time. I've seen friends come, I've seen friends go, I've changed jobs, I've changed cities, I've changed wherever, but that friend has remained to be constant to me. And I'm not ashamed of him, and he's not ashamed of me. And it's not because of anything that I've done. It's not because I am a very amazing human being in any way. I'm not. I'm not perfect at all in any way. But this friend has constantly stuck close, has helped me in developing healthy habits. I talk to him every time when I'm struggling with an issue or anything. I tell him, and that friend to me has been Jesus. And that's why I just want to encourage you, if you're here, if you're watching this in the now, on the live recording, or you're watching it later on, if you've never made a relationship and had a relationship with Him, He's the best part of your community that you can never think about. He's the best part of your community that can help you when it comes to this establishment of those healthy habits. So if you're ever thinking, or if you're ever in that place and you're struggling in any way, I would love to. I feel like I've given you invitations to do the 5K step challenge with me. But the first and most important step that you can ever make, that you can ever do, that you will never be disappointed, you'll always find the support, whether you go through thick, whether you go through thin, no matter what, is that step that begins with a relationship with Jesus. And so for me, it's an invitation as you're doing this step challenge with me. If you've never said, if you've never invited him into your life, you've never allowed him to do this journey with you, I'd like just to encourage you. It's a very simple thing. You can pray a very simple prayer to say, I give you my life and I invite you to do this journey with me because I cannot be able to do it on my own. And so, as I bring this to an end, I was just asking myself in the morning, what can I do? I just say, today I'm going to pray for my viewers. I don't care whoever says what. I just felt like I want to bless you guys. And if my story has touched you, let it be a story that will motivate you to say, I want to have that relationship. I want to have that community because it's the best ever community that you can ever think about. So I'm going to pray. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for today. I want to thank you for everyone that has been on this call tonight, that's been on this live stream tonight, even for those that will watch in days and in ages to come, for those that are struggling and desiring to establish healthy habits and are finding it a little bit more difficult. I know from my personal journey that it has been a journey that has been dependent on you, that I look back today where I am and the things that I've come through, it has only been by your grace. And so I pray for those who are listening to this, maybe in the now, on the days and years to come, that God, if there be anyone that will be struggling with their health in any way, those that will be struggling with addictions, those that will be struggling with body image issues, those that will be struggling with whatever thing that they may be struggling with. God, I know that you are able to move, and I know that you are able to do much more than we can ask for. So I pray for these people, young and old, men and women, all ages, people from all nations, generations, wherever it is, that God, they will meet with you, and that God, wherever they've been, those addictions, they will break off. Where there's been illnesses, bodies be healed in the name of Jesus. And God, I want to thank you for everyone that has listened to this, Lord, and everyone that has in one way or the other participated in this challenge. I just want to pray over their lives, and I pray that the Lord will bless you and keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you, and may He turn His face towards you and give you His shalom. In Jesus' name, Amen. I hope that was encouraging. No matter where you are with your journey, I hope you have a good evening, and I shall see you guys again tomorrow in the evening. I don't know exactly. I think I'd said I'm going to talk about rest, but of course, I might wake up with something completely different. But just to encourage you, no matter the struggles you're going through, there's nothing that is so difficult that you are not able to do or change, or there's no body that cannot be healed, there's no body that cannot be delivered, and there's nothing that God cannot do. Have a great evening, and I shall see you in the live stream tomorrow in the evening. Bye bye.